What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode,
Facts.
chatting about Manchester United's kind of transfer window. I guess is that what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
should call it?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, today we'll be chatting about Manchester United's transfer window for the 2026 summer transfer market that's open right now. As we know, during the World Cup, there's a lot of players that are, kind of occupied with their countries. But needless to say that the transfer market is very busy in the background, monitoring all the top performers and such like that. And of course, clubs are making moves to secure new players. So yeah, naturally, Manchester United off to a little bit of a slow start in the transfer window so far this year, but have whipped that around in the span of a week by signing three new players for our squad.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a busy week in Manchester.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, would you say any of them necessarily got like more exposure from the World Cup? Any of the people that United signed, or do you think it was
Hmm.
like people they already had in mind
Really
before
good
the World
question.
Cup?
I think Tielemans is probably the one who was scouted from the World Cup.
Okay.
He was a major player for Aston Villa, obviously just won the Europa
Ah,
League with
okay.
them this past season, but also for Belgium. He was immensely instrumental in the midfield, not only as a goal scorer, but also as a creator for their team. So yeah, he was a huge part of the Belgium team, and I do think largely his performance at the World Cup is what helped him get scouted for Manchester United.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. And on that point, was he
Yeah.
injured in the World Cup? Did he get
He was
injured at
injured
the?
for Belgium's last game. So the
Okay,
game that they lost, he was injured for. And that was kind of the guy I was telling you about, that he was like a huge miss for them
got it.
because
Okay.
their midfield was just not the same without him.
Okay,
So yeah.
so you're pretty excited about him being signed then.
Yeah, I think Yuri Tillemans will be a fantastic signing for Manchester United. At the end of the day, we know the midfield is a place that we need to bolster our units. We don't have a ton of, or we didn't have a ton of midfield options prior to these last three signings. And so, yeah, Manchester United, we knew we needed midfielders, not only
Yeah.
for the Premier League, but also for the Champions League. With the run of games that we're going to have this next season, we needed numbers.
Yeah,
So it's good that
definitely.
we bolstered our midfield for sure.
Okay, great. Well,
Yeah.
outside of Tielemans, who
Yeah.
else did Manchester United sign?
Yeah, so we signed Andri Santos from
Okay.
Chelsea, a Brazilian lad, and then we signed Carl Barlow or Yeah, I think it's Barlow. I want to say
Okay.
Barlow. It's Carl.
Carl
Yeah,
from.
Carlo
Oh,
Darlow.
Darlow.
So yeah, he
Say
came.
that 5 times
Carl
fast.
Darlow, Carlo Dollar, Carlo. Yeah, not gonna happen. That's my guy, Carl. Yo, Carl. Yeah, first name basis for you, Mister. So yeah, so signed Carl Darlow. He's a goalkeeper. He came from Leeds
Oh,
United, so familiar with the kind of
interesting.
strenuousness of the English leagues, having played for Leeds. So yeah, I think that's a great signing in terms of like our goalkeeper option. Obviously, Seaman Lemons was fantastic for us at the end of the season,
Definitely.
but it's massively important at a top club to have multiple goalkeepers who could potentially be a number one,
Hmm.
particularly to put pressure on the number one goalkeeper. So again, Lemons, we have trust in Lemons. We know what he can do. He had a fantastic season at United, but he now has some competition.
Can't get
Someone,
comfortable.
exactly, someone who can keep him on his toes and keep his performances, right where they need to be.
Okay.
So not that Bayern wasn't that, but obviously
Ah,
Bayern had
okay.
made his own mistakes and stuff. So we'll see what happens with him as the transfer window proceeds on. But I think United have made a pretty clear decision by signing, Carl. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I couldn't remember who the backup
backup, yeah.
keeper for United was,
Um,
but that's
yeah,
good to
because I think
know.
the other
Yeah.
one is the older guy. I can't remember his name. He's been with the club for a while, but
Okay.
but he's like the third choice. So
Got
I'm
it.
sure
But
he'll
good
he'll
to have
remain.
another kind of more, I guess, trusted backup
Yeah, yeah. Well,
keeper.
I mean, don't know much about him, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think again the club made a move strategically to prepare us, for a worst case scenario, if anything were to happen to Lemons, but also in case his form ever dips, like you said, we've got a
Okay.
goalkeeper who can jump right in and who's going to be up to speed if he starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And so he was the, I don't know if you know all the details. Was he the
Uh,
starting keeper or like the backup
he
for?
was the starting keeper.
Okay. So
Yeah.
pretty
So
big
yeah,
move for him
it
then.
is. Yeah, it is. But as Tielemans says, when Manchester United calls, he picked that up.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
That's
that was his
cool.
quote. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
yeah,
really
Yuri
cool.
Tielemans, my brother, you got to support already
Yes,
right
absolutely.
off the bat.
Okay, wow, we
Um,
love that. So
yeah,
then
yeah.
the other signing is Santos.
Yes,
So
Andres
what do you know
Santos.
about him?
He's a former Chelsea player. He was a pretty big Chelsea player. Again, he's a pretty young talent. Chelsea kind of used him as an option in their midfield, but because of injuries in their squad, he ended up getting a lot of minutes. But yeah, I think like for like profile, very similar to Casemiro.
Okay.
Obviously, another Brazilian, so
Oh,
kind
of
of fits
course.
the
Yeah.
bill perfectly. But Santos, I think not only does he have a lot of ability to grow into his position at Manchester United, but he's already proven to be a solid Premier League midfielder. He's
Okay.
played decent against United. He was actually the last player in the Premier League that Casemiro got a red card against. Casemiro was sent off for a foul on Santos.
Santos.
Yeah.
That's so funny,
So
actually.
safe
They
to
won't be
say.
crossing paths.
No, will not on this side. They'll be crossing paths at a United event or something in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Santos definitely brings that athleticism, brings that youth and that composure on the ball. I think he has a lot of potential to be a great midfielder and potentially be one of our starting midfielders.
Ooh,
I think this
okay.
is something we haven't really seen in a long time at United, but there is genuine competition for our midfield starting positions. And that is something we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And that's massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was
Yeah.
actually just going to ask you, how do you foresee like Tielemans and Santos kind of integrating into the current midfield players and
Yeah.
like midfield that they already have at United?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. Well, we know that United has kind of reinvigorated Mason Mount. He came on and
Okay.
ended last season with some really strong performances, and United has denied any clubs the access to him this transfer market.
So,
So United have essentially indicated that Mason Mount is part of the plans for the future, and they do see him as an important squad player to really bolster our midfield. So
okay.
I think, again, for our midfielders right now, you've got Bruno, now you've got Mason Mount, you've got Kobe Mainu, now you've got Tielemans and Santos, not to mention the Fletcher Youngin that is coming through the youth system at the moment.
Wow.
So our midfield is starting to look serious. As far as what that rotation could look like or the starting could look like, I mean, I guess it definitely depends, right? I mean, we probably won't see a ton of like Bruno, Tielemans, and Mainu playing
Okay.
together. Reason being is just because there isn't like net defensive midfielder in that group.
Got it.
Tielemans
Okay.
likes to go forward, likes to have license to go forward. He likes to shoot from distance, so he's the type of midfielder that wants to go forward.
Got it.
But obviously, Bruno Fernandes is our key attacking player.
He gotta
He
go
creates
forward.
everything. So even Tielemans will have to, when he is on the pitch, will have to find a little bit more discipline to make sure he's
Mm,
not getting out of position in those moments that Bruno is being what Bruno is for us.
okay.
So that will be an interesting dynamic. But also, Kobe Mainu can play anywhere. Kobe Mainu could
Facts.
also play as a six very easily. Obviously, he likes to go forward. He's a very talented attacking player.
The
Um,
6 is more defensive.
yeah, the six
Okay.
is the most defensive
Okay, got it.
midfielder. Yeah, so I think Kobe can play that position as well. We haven't seen him play it very much, mainly because Casemiro was in there. But again, I think that Casemiro's absence and now a new breath of midfielders, it now kind of opens up that possibility of where we could see Kobe Mainu. Because if
Okay.
we had a six that's as dominant on the ball as Kobe, as strong on the ball as Kobe, as composed as him, and with his ability to pass, he kind of is the ideal six already
Yeah.
because he's so good on the ball.
Okay.
But obviously, then you'd miss out on a little bit of Kobe's attacking presence.
Because he can do it all, literally,
Yeah, he
as you
can do
said.
it
He can
all.
do it all.
But again, if he's playing in a midfield with Bruno or with Tielemans or even in a midfield with Mason and with Bruno, Kobe, will have to have that discipline to recognize, hey, I'm the defensive midfielder here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let them handle their job, do the attacking, and I'm going to make sure I'm here to support the back four.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
in terms of that, I think there's a lot of combinations we could see. Mason Mount, as we know, is a very versatile midfielder as well. And we've seen in the past with Bruno where managers have played Bruno as a winger, but as a winger with license to come into the middle. We've seen that when we play against teams like City or Chelsea or Arsenal, teams typically that might dominate the midfield battle with athleticism.
Okay.
The way United has combated that in the past is by having Bruno as like a pseudo winger, where he kind of comes inside and actually helps us in the midfield.
Floats around a little bit.
Yeah. So there's a lot that United could do. You know, we could overload teams by starting the 4 midfielders, but we can also be very confident in our 3 midfielders that are selected. You know, I always want to see Kobe Mainoo on the field. I feel like that's a no-brainer. And I feel like Bruno Fernandes is obviously a no-brainer. So I think, you know, Santos and Tielemans will have to kind of duke it out for that last position in the midfield 3, because I think the other 2 will be hard to beat out.
Yeah.
And even Mason Mount, again, Mason Mount has a lot of versatility. He can play on the wing. He can come into the middle. He can play as the attacking or the 8 box-to-box midfielder.
Okay.
So again, with all of these combinations, we now have a midfield where we're like, dang, this is a very dynamic group.
Yeah, absolutely. Which we love to see. We really do love to see.
It was much needed.
Yeah, I just feel like you specifically have talked a lot about the midfield and how much they've struggled with the midfield players, like having the versatility and like the depth of players in the midfield. So I feel like it sounds like that's what they're kind of trying to curate. With
100%.
these players.
And I mean, thankfully, right, United plays this Saturday. So we're going to already get to see Santos play. We're going to already get to see, I don't know if Tielemans already will be back, but we'll get to see Santos. You know, Darlow could potentially get minutes in goal because we know Lemons will still be on his vacation. So, you know, this is an opportunity for these players to kind of start staking their claim, you know, preseason, to start kind of showing that they're versatile, who they work well with, you know, those sorts of things.
Excited.
I know.
I'm excited. I didn't know they had a preseason game this weekend.
Preseason
That's
this weekend
exciting. So, I guess we'll be talking
United
about that.
back in action this weekend, baby. We're ready. It's been too long.
It has been a while.
Yeah, it has.
I'm actually really excited.
So it will be great to see, you know, potentially what these guys have in store throughout preseason, but also we'll get kind of early signs as to what Carrick is trying to institute and how Carrick wants to play. And we can kind of have a little bit of anticipation just based off of what we saw at the end of last year. He's very interested in playing proper football, good football, but also remaining true to United's core identity, which is attacking football and making sure we're scoring goals as well and playing entertaining football. So again, Carrick gets it. You know, in Carrick we trust. This is no BS. We trust the manager. And so when he is signing these players, we have to understand that the manager already has a vision for the way he wants to utilize these players. And so I'm very excited to see that. I'm excited to see what Carrick has in mind for the utilization of these guys, because I think it could be very exciting.
I think so too.
And so far, you know, United, they were able to secure Santos and Tielemans for under 85 million euros or pounds rather. So a pretty phenomenal move from INEOS and the club itself in this transfer market to get active, but not just spend, you know, frivolously. They're being very specific and intentional with the people they're going after and signing. And the club is also making sure that the players that they're bringing in want to play for the club. And I think that that's a key change in the way that United is recruiting this year, you know, because there's no more, we're just going to be the highest bidder and get this guy anyway. But is that the sort of player you want in your group if they just want a big payout from their transfer? So United has definitely shifted that. And they're going for players who specifically want United.
And we love that.
It's brilliant.
We do love that.
Yeah, it's such a good strategy because those players will already come to the club knowing the weight of the shirt and knowing what it means to play for United because they already have that expectation.
Absolutely.
And so I think that that's really cool, the strategy that INEOS is employing, you know, making sure that the people we're signing also are willing to fight and die for the badge because that's massively important.
Absolutely. That's a great point. I really love that they are kind of focusing in more on that. Now, do you think, well, I guess I don't know how long the transfer window is or like when it ends.
A week after the season starts. So it'll be like the first
so it's
couple, like it goes a little bit into August.
So there's potential for more signings from United.
United
Do you know
is still
any,
active. There's a lot of speculation right now. Nothing has been like fully solidified, but we'll see what happens. I think, INEOS, again, they want players that have already proven that they can play in the Premier League, play at this level, which is why they went for Santos, who, has played for Chelsea, why they went for Tielemans, who's played at Aston Villa, and why they got Darlow, who is, again, played in the English level, system before. So it makes sense, the signings they're going after. So I really wouldn't be surprised if United try and make one or two more moves in this transfer window. I think our outside back positions, right back, left back, we could use bolstering in both of those positions. Center back, there's been some reports about Martinez and a potential link with I almost said Aston Martin. A potential link with Atletico Madrid. We don't really know what could happen with that. But if Lisandro Martinez was to move on, it's obviously immensely important that we get another athletic center back who's good in the air into the squad, if that is to happen. Obviously, again, just early speculation. There's a little bit more reports around potentially one more midfielder. We'll see what happens there. A couple of the midfield targets that United had went to some other places, but it was really a situation of, if you don't want to come to our club, we're not going to spend the bread on you.
That's fair.
And I gotta give kudos to the the Manchester United leadership for going about it that way, because at the end of the day, why should we break the bank if they don't even want to play at our club? So the way they've gone about it has been perfect. And the quickness of these 3 transfers, it was just boom, boom, boom.
Yes. Transfer. Know, that's crazy.
It's just brilliant. And we know Carrick has been in touch with Rashford's camp as well.
Nice.
And they've already coordinated on, Rashford joining for, the later part of preseason once his vacation is over. So I think, Manchester United, we have a lot of weapons. Our team is starting to look like a team that could challenge for a Premier League and that could make it decently far in the Champions League this season. Because, again, that is the goal. That's the goal of Michael Carrick, and that is always the goal of Manchester United, to win trophies now.
Yes.
Not later, not next season, not in the future after we get transfers. No. Now. And that is the strategy that INEOS are approaching this transfer window with.
Good.
And I'd love to see it.
Yeah, good. There's no need for suffering or no need for
AC
any
Milan
time. And we want the results immediately.
Yeah,
that's really all.
And Carrick has already delivered. So trust in the signings, trust in what Carrick's vision is, trust in the club and INEOS, because, again, they're making these steps, making these signings, and they are like very clear steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because these are Premier League tested players that are going to be ready to contribute to our squad on day dot. And that's what we need. That is what United needs to push us across the line. Third place, it showed that we are right there. And now with some of these signings, now we're going to be tipped over the edge. So, INEOS.
I'm excited.
INEOS have been doing that thing, and so as Michael Carrick, the scouts, all of the people who are working on these transfers, they're making things happen. And Manchester United fans, we're grateful and we're happy for it.
Yeah.
We're ready to see what next season has to bring. We've got a ton of anticipation, and so the transfers are only bringing more excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited for the game this weekend. I know it's preseason, but I'm excited to watch them play again. And obviously, they don't have all their players right now, of course.
No.
But
I'm sure like Bruno will still be on vacation. Some of those guys.
It will be kind of cool to see who they play and in those spots.
And to your point, this is a great opportunity for us to get sights on some youth players, right?
Yes.
We'll kind of see some more youth injected in the squad and some of those guys. So we'll really get to see learn more about Manchester United this weekend on Saturday when their first preseason game of the new season kicks off.
I'm excited. Okay, cool.
So we'll we in there. So you will see us then. But those were kind of a broad overview of Manchester United's transfer market so far this summer. They've been active. We've got 3 signings done across the finish line already. And I think, according to speculation, there's more to come. So we'll keep an eye out.
We'll see. So if you made it this far,
thanks for watching.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.